Namo Adida Phat. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The third mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to cultivate responsibility and learn ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. I'm determined not to engage in sexual relations without love and a long-term commitment. To preserve the happiness of myself and others, I'm determined to respect my commitments and the commitments of others. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. For Dharma lessons, we've been reading Ajahn Munindo's book, Unexpected Freedom. Today we're beginning a chapter called No Blame. Dhammapada verse 243. But the worst stain of all is ignorance. Be purified of this, and you are free. Can we contemplate together what happens when we get caught in blaming? Several times recently I've heard used the expression, a culture of blame. Strangely, some of those using this expression appear to feel that someone out there is responsible for the existence of this culture. From the perspective of practice, we begin our investigation into blaming by looking first for what it is that we ourselves are contributing to our suffering. Once we are able to acknowledge our part, we are then in a position to perceive the causes for the arising of this suffering more accurately. Let's consider some examples. Last week, the driver of the JCB, working on the building site, which will become our retreat center, dug up the mains water pipe so that the monastery and surrounding houses were without running water for 4 hours. There was quite a bit of blaming going around in response to that. Some thought it was the driver's fault for not being more careful, others the project manager for not doing sufficient research, some the site manager for leaving the workers to carry on without supervision. There was even the suggestion that the neighbors brought it upon themselves with the bad karma they had created by being so difficult. Then there has been all the talk about the awful weather we are having. The blame, it has been suggested, rests with those responsible for global warming. And that can't be Britain because she is too small. It must be the Americans, 4% of the world's population, generating 25% of the pollution. It's easy to blame the Americans. But where does this blaming get us? On a superficial level, we can feel better if we have someone to blame. We can feel right when we think we know who is wrong. Being able to label people as responsible also deals with the anxiety which comes from always wanting to know things are under control. But does having someone to blame, and that someone might be ourselves, free us from suffering? It gratifies something momentarily, but is that the same as finding satisfaction? Now we have created an enemy, which is another kind of suffering. And if it is ourselves we have blamed, then we become even more hurt and inwardly divided than we were before. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Namo Adida Phat. Thanks so much for joining me today.